Have you ever said or heard these statements? I'm going to this on this date and I'm so afraid that I'm going to drink too much and say something stupid. Or, what's the point of me going to that party? Nobody ever talks to me at parties. Or, I can never tell my friends exactly who I am because they'll all think I'm crazy. If any of these statements apply to you, what is the quality of your relationships? Welcome, everybody. I'm Dr. Lucille, and I'm a spiritually oriented psychiatrist and psychotherapist. This is my channel, Dr. Lucille on Relationships. I'm on a mission to help people heal individually and collectively from all the relationship wounding that we've undergone over the past 5 years, so that we can heal, come together in harmony and peace, and create the better world that we really want. And maybe even experience unconditional love. So today, I'm going to talk about the secret sauce for healthy relationships. And as you may already know, the healthier your relationships with others, the healthier your relationship with yourself. Self-esteem is the secret sauce. All these statements that I mentioned at the beginning, they're all about insecurity and fear. And over the years, I have heard just about every negative belief that underlies that fear and insecurity that people have about creating relationships. So, for example, I'm unacceptable, unlikable, I'm stupid, there's something wrong with me, I'm incompetent, I'm incapable, I don't belong, I'm unworthy. And then there's the big catch-all, which is my personal favorite, which is I'm bad. Now, I don't think there's anybody on this planet who hasn't felt some of those, or even others I haven't even mentioned about themselves. I certainly have struggled with at least a few of those. And what happens if we harbor these negative beliefs about ourselves, if we feel this negativity about ourselves, is it permeates through everything we think and do and say. It kind of radiates out from us like a radar, like a field of energy, and it will attract those people to us who will mirror that negativity back to us. So we can end up in really even abusive in relationships, or just relationships that are so dissatisfying, where there's lots of disrespect or maybe neglect. And over the course of many years of working with people, the interesting thing is that when a person starts healing and they improve their self-esteem, they start automatically attracting healthier relationships. Say you're a woman who always is attracted to that bad boy, and you have a desire to have that person suddenly turn themselves around and tell you that you're the one, and they'll mend their ways and they will pursue you to the ends of the earth. And that's the only way that you'll be able to start feeling good about yourself. Meanwhile, the bad boy is thinking that his self-esteem depends on him attracting loads of women and then disposing of them. So the women who finally heal themselves from that kind of pattern, they could see 1 million bad boys in a room, and all they want to do is find the nearest exit. After a while, the trance of the bad boy just disappears. Now, that's just one example. You know, many of us have these patterns that repeat of getting attracted to the wrong kind of person, playing out the same scenario in relationship after relationship after relationship, which just ends up in heartbreak and often cynicism and despair and depression, and on it goes. Now, it's not about blaming ourselves or being critical of ourselves like we're failures, because we have all been conditioned. We've all been conditioned to see ourselves as not measuring up in one way or another. We are judged pretty well from birth by everybody. Oh, we're too tall, too short, too fat, too thin, too stupid, too introverted, too extroverted. We don't make the grade in school. It's endless. And so we immediately and automatically, from very early on in our growing up years, take on that negative self-assessment that we just don't measure up, and what's the point? Now, you will then, kind of go along and, because in our hearts, we still have a longing for relationships. We do the best we can, and we end up doing things like focusing on, well, how can I be accepted? Oh, like what can I do to avoid being rejected? But when you have a really healthy self-esteem, you approach relationships very differently. You approach them from the standpoint of, well, I'd like to get to know this person. And I want to see if when I'm with this person, we actually can enhance our energy field. We actually can enjoy each other's company. We can stimulate one another to grow or enjoy just the meeting of minds and see what we have in common. And if it doesn't work out, oh well, I'll just move on. We can do that without getting into despair or clinging or becoming disrespectful of the other person or getting angry and judgmental. At the end of the date, it's kind of like, well, that was pleasant and nice, but I don't think we're that compatible. Thank you very much. And you move on. Can you imagine yourself doing that? Can you imagine yourself being that objective? Can you imagine yourself really taking all of what you know about yourself, all of what you really desire, setting all your fears aside and saying, I'm not compromising. I am not belittling myself. I am not belittling the other person. I'm just going for the best possible relationship that brings out the best in me and that other person. Everybody can do it. You can. It's just that, again, we've been so conditioned into seeing ourselves as defective in one way or another that it can take quite a process to develop a healthy self-esteem. So one of the things that you can do if you really desire to improve your relationships by improving your self-esteem is start really exploring yourself with curiosity and compassion. You want to look at, well, who do I attract? What is the pattern in my life of, who do I attract as friends or romantic partners? Is there a theme in what doesn't seem to go right in those relationships? The next question would be, well, how is this linked to how I feel about myself? What negative beliefs do I have about myself that seem to manifest in these relationships and make them go south? And then you want to ask yourself the third question, which is, What evidence do I have for any of these negative beliefs about myself? And that's where you really have to dig. You have to really understand, if I'm seeing myself as unlikable, well, where exactly did that come from? And is that just become a self-fulfilling prophecy without any real evidence behind it? Now, here's a big piece of evidence that we are indeed none of the negative beliefs that we believe about ourselves. We all come from the divine. We are all miracles. In my little finger, in one cell of my little finger and yours, there is a miraculous universe of reactions and activity and electromagnetic forces and all sorts of things going on that we don't even have a conscious awareness of. And yet, by virtue of the fact that that's happening in our one little cell of our bodies, that creates the entire miracle of who we really are. We are truly miracles. And we were not put on this earth, or we did not get here just to lead small, fear-ridden, constricted lives of chronic unhappiness. We're all here for something greater than that. We are all magical creators. The unfortunate thing is that when we are conditioned to believe that we are lesser than, and inferior, what we create is also lesser than and inferior. So if you want to go further with this, you're asking the questions, and you feel maybe you need even more help, more than perhaps just journaling, then yes, there are self-help groups. Absolutely, there is therapy. And every day, it would be very wise to start having better conversations with yourself, rather than beating yourself up for all the things that you did in those interactions with people yesterday, all the bad things you did, all the ways that you didn't show up, all the ways that you didn't measure up. Start talking to yourself with compassion and curiosity and ask, what was that really all about? And what do I need to feel better about myself? So truly, when we feel better about ourselves, we automatically attract healthier relationships. So thank you, those of you who have listened to the end. And if you have enjoyed this content, that would give me no end of pleasure. Thank you, thank you. But if you've enjoyed it, please leave a like, a comment, share it out with people that you think might like to hear this episode, and please subscribe. And I will be delighted to see you in my next episode.